Hey, what's up YouTube? Pweet23 here, and this is going to be my answers video to the questions that y'all asked last week. I'm going to just kind of try to run through this really quick because I don't want to have like a 15-minute video or something like that. But first I want to show you what I picked up in some garage sales this last weekend. First I have Need for Speed Underground for the Xbox. Need for Speed Underground 2 for the Xbox, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Rainbow Six 3, and a collector's edition Halo 2. Each one of these were $3 a piece or whatever, so I picked them up. I also found this pretty cool fucking watch. I mean, it's really nice. It's got a lot of weight to it. Something like crystal plate or whatever. Got it for like 15 bucks or whatever, and it's a $220 watch. So that was pretty cool. Had to pick it up. All right, to get to my questions, I'm gonna just start from the very first person that asked me a question and just go from there. All right, first question. This comes from my brother, Big Bomber 5, and he asks, can you go Super Saiyan? Well, I know exactly why he asked me this. First off, I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. And second off, if you watched my video last week, well, I mentioned something about my Widow's Peak being very Vegeta-like or whatever. So, no, Carl, I can't go Super Saiyan. I'd like to. I think I've had dreams about it before. I was fucking obsessed with some Dragon Ball Z back in the day. His second question is, what's the first game you remember playing? Now this was also asked by NM Stranger. So, first game I remember ever playing was Super Mario Brothers with the Slash Duck Hunt. And it is a really fun game. Y'all know about Super Mario Brothers. I don't have to get into that. All right, the next person with questions is from Point Blank Games. What was the first game you played that was so bad that you didn't finish it? Now I thought about this for a while. I was like, man, there's a lot of games, and you're wanting to know my first one, so I'd have to say Friday the 13th. That game was horrible. I mean, you just go around going in these houses and you find Freaky Jason and you have to throw knives and stuff at him. I don't know. I think I was just too young for it or something. Might have to try it again, but I watched a little bit of gameplay on it the other day just to make sure it was fucking horrible, and it was fucking horrible. Tetris is another game that I didn't like because I couldn't stand Tetris. I didn't even figure it out until like 5 years ago. I didn't know you were supposed to put lines and stuff on it. Or make lines, you know. His second question is, what genre do you like most besides RPGs? Because RPGs are my favorite. You know, I like platformer games. Games like Castlevania and Metroid. And, you know, some side-scrolling Super Mario Brothers, games like that. A game I really didn't like that everyone seems to like, and it was Game of the Year, I think in 2009 or whatever, is Little Big Planet. Wasn't a big fan of it. The Sackboy wasn't doing it for me. So, but I do like platformer games, and I like FPSs. If you had a chance to get all the retro systems and games you wanted for free, but you had to get a titty surgically implanted on your back, would you? Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with a titty on your back. I mean, for one, I mean, it's a good back cushion whenever you're getting your gamings on. And for another, I mean, I can sit there and play with my titty while I'm playing some Wii and stuff, and but something else I'd have to also get implanted would be possibly like the shell that Bowser has on his back. That way, any person comes up trying to rub up on my titty, it'll stab him in the hand. fuck them up. So, yes, I would get a titty on my back. Okay, and then his last question is, if you have one power, magic, or summon from a game, what would it be, and who would be the first person you'd use it on? I would say what I would get would be the Knights of the Round summon from Final Fantasy VII. For one, it's a bitch to get. I mean, you got to be breeding some freaking chocobos. You'd be mixing up some green and blues and get your gold one and run across this shit. So, and then when you use it though, you get like 120,000 health, like hit points on people, and so I think that'd be kind of cool. Be calling up my 13 buddies over here to fuck some people up. So, and who would I use it on? I'd use it on the first dude trying to rub up on my back titty. I'll be walking down the street and someone comes up, ooh, you got a nice titty back there. Yeah, I would fuck them up. I'd call in my buddies, my posse. Okay, so the next question comes from Meeting Flipper, and he asks, why is your channel so awesome? Well, it's awesome because, it's all about video games. Anyone that watches my channel, that's why we're on YouTube. At least that's why I'm on YouTube. I mean, that's pretty much all I watch is video game videos. Then I have a few Dragon Ball Z fans as well that liked my A and B that I made up. And I do plan on making another one of those just because I love them so much. So, his second question is, what does being a gamer mean to you? Well, being a gamer is like one of my passions, always has been as far back as I can remember. So definitely, like, I have some friends that don't play video games and stuff. They're like, oh, you're telling the whole world that you're a gamer? Man, you're a super nerd. And well, hell yeah, man, I'm 26 years old. I'll freaking go up to the top of Mount Everest and scream out that I'm a gamer and have the Dalai Lamas and stuff freaking whatever. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I'll tell them. So the next question comes from XX Axel Vengeance 90XX. I remembered the 90 this time. And he asks, what is your all-time favorite video game and why? Well, my all-time favorite video game is Chrono Trigger. And Chrono Trigger was one of the first RPGs that I played, and it was a spectacular game. The story of it is great. The battle system in it's really cool. I mean, you can do triple combos and different things like that. I'd like to see them kind of like bring that into more RPGs these days, a few games do it, but not, I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. The characters were cool. The music was awesome in it. So, and his second question is, what is your favorite video game memory? Well, I've had a lot of memories in my days, but my favorite one would probably be me and my brother gaming on some Super Mario Kart on the SNES. We used to have some epic battles. I was always Toad and he was always... No, I was always Koopa and he was always Toad. And, we'd be 150 classing it for 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day, and it's one of those games, man, like, I normally don't try to, like, get pissed off and stuff at it, but, man, he's fucking good, and he's, like, the only person I've found that can beat me at it, and I've got friends and everything, they're always like, oh, I use the Fat Boys, I use Donkey Kong, and I use Bowser and stuff, and, well, I play against them, man, and they're all driving off the road, they don't even know how to power slide that stuff, and so, always kicked their asses at it. But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories of video games. Next question comes from NM Stranger. His questions are, what's your favorite console of all time? Favorite console, Super NES by far. Super Nintendo was the one that really got me hooked in gaming. I believe it came out whenever I was maybe 5 years old or so, 6 years old. It's got spectacular video games on it, as in like Link to the Past and Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2, Super Punch Out, F-Zero, you know, bunch of just different games. Love that console. I'd really like to see, I don't know what I'd like to see with it, but I love that console. How did you become a gamer? Always been a gamer. I've been a gamer since as far back as I can remember, maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. Um, my sister is 7 years older than me. She was the one actually playing Super Mario. And I just remember picking up the controller way back then and didn't really know what I was doing, but before long, man, I was just hooked. So always have been a gamer. Okay, the next questions come from, I think it's Goffman. Could be Jeffman because I think his name might be Jeff. And he goes by Spokesman, so if I'm wrong, just let me know. Yes, favorite RPG of all time. I just got into that, the Chrono Trigger. Any recommended RPGs that I might not have heard of for any system? I thought about this a lot, and I know what your channel is. I mean, your channel, you've got a bunch of video games, and I mean, I was thinking, man, what would he not have heard of or play or anything? So I went through some of your videos and looking at your collections and things, and you know, you've got Terranigma for the Super Nintendo. That's a really cool game. You need to check it out. It's very unique, and it's kind of short, but it's cool. And another game that really didn't get very many good reviews was actually one of the first RPGs that I played is Beyond the Beyond on PlayStation 1. I mean, I put in some time. I remember getting stuck at this one part, and I had to go get the strategy guide just to figure it out. But I thought it was a good game. I mean, maybe it was because I was like really early into the genre, and I was just really pumped about it. But yeah, Beyond the Beyond I thought was pretty cool. So, what are you currently playing in the RPG field? Well, I'm not really playing too many games in the RPG field right now. Dragon Age, I am playing those series. I'm still on the first one. I haven't picked it up in about 3 months. I need to pick it back up and start playing it so I can get to the second one. Now this game's not really an RPG, but right now I'm also playing Castlevania Area of Sorrow. It's kind of a platformer, but it does have RPG elements to it, like you know, buying weapons and things and leveling up and stuff. You know, it's a lot like Symphony of the Night. So that's kind of what I've been playing in that kind of field. Okay, next question comes from Nostalgic Dan 1, and he asks, what do you snack on when you do some gaming? Well, I like to eat some candy. I like eating Skittles. I like eating sweet tarts, some Reese's peanut butter cups. You know, something I can eat quick, like go grab a bag of chips or something, like some barbecue chips, because, you know, I don't have time to be cooking up some freaking spaghetti and stuff like that. I mean, when I'm gaming, I'm wanting to game. I'm not wanting to cook. So it's got to be something really fast, really quick that I can eat on. He also asks, what would be your ultimate gaming purchase if money is not a factor? Well, I remember back in the day, me and my brother used to go to this little hamburger store called Big Ed's here in Mustang, Oklahoma. Well, they had an arcade there, and y'all might remember it's the Atari Pole Position. You get in this arcade, and it's actually like fully enclosed. You know, it's a really generic arcade. I mean, but you race Indy cars in it. And you can actually shift the gears and push the pedal and stuff in it. And I thought it was pretty cool. So, I mean, that would just be like a really nostalgic kind of thing I'd like to have at my place. Who are some of your favorite video characters of all time? Well, Cloud, Final Fantasy VII, and Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII are some of the baddest characters in my opinion. So I like them too. I also like Link. Link doesn't really have much to say. So if I was trying to talk to him or whatever, wouldn't get much out of him besides some noises and stuff like that. I like Kratos. Kratos from God of War series. Just badass motherfucker. I mean, just going and fucking up some people and things like that. And, you always gotta get Mario in there because Mario's just legendary. So, I like Mario as well. Okay, last questions comes from Ash81 Before You. And question is there a console / computer not available in your country you want to get? Now, the console that I was thinking of it's not really a console. It's more of like an expansion pack to a console. But I would say the Nintendo 64 DD. It was only released in Japan, and what it is just a disc drive that's hooked up. I mean, a lot of y'all probably know about it and stuff, but there was only 9 games released for it. But I think just it'd be a really cool collector's item to have. Some of the games on there were like, they had some F-Zero and they had a Mario Artist and stuff like that. But I think that'd be kind of cool to have because I liked the Nintendo 64 a lot. And the very last question asked is, what video game character would you like to chill out in a coffee shop with? Well, this is going to be kind of cheating too because it's actually an anime character, but they did make video games for it, so it counts. It'd be Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. You know, like the Budokai series and Legacy of Goku's and they had some RPGs and stuff released, I believe, on like the Game Boy Advance and maybe Game Boy. But I'd like to chill out with him and just kind of ask him, man, why are you so pissed off? I understand like Frieza blew up your planet and stuff, but you're holding a grudge for sure. But I just think he'd be kind of cool to hang out with or whatever. So. Alright, well that's about it. I want to thank everybody for all your questions. I am still looking for a bunch of different video games. I'm going to be rebuilding my collection now. And I'm really pumped up about that for sure. So, until next time, thanks for watching.